Have you ever noticed how quietly life changes? One day someone is part of your everyday life, the next they are part of your memories. And still, the sun rises and we keep walking, not because the pain is gone, but because life keeps moving. Beauty still exists even when life hurts. Hi everyone and welcome back. Since the passing away of our very dear friend, this week we didn't film much. So I thought of doing a talking head video today discussing a question which comes up very, very frequently, and rightly so. Is Sicily safe? Safe to live or safe to buy a property? Let's talk about that today. It is a very fair question to ask, since Sicily has had a very bad reputation in the past through all those movies and news. And yeah, it did have a period of a very bad crime rate. But today, at least, Sicily is very different from the image that people have of this island. I like to be honest in my videos. I also had the same reservations before buying here in Sicily and before living here most of the year in Sicily. But honestly, today I feel relatively safe here in Sicily. At the end of the day, in our case, from our own personal experience, a house was actually ransacked in Malta and our fear was always the other way around. But having said that, petty crime exists anywhere in the world. So taking the necessary precautions is key. When people ask this question, they are usually meaning two things. One, is it safe as in petty theft? Is it safe to walk around freely? Is it safe to leave the car unattended when you go somewhere? This kind of safety. And then there is the other side of the question, does the mafia still exist? When people think of this subject of the mafia, they are thinking more about rumors that they could have heard. There is this old way that they used to come and ask for what is called as the pizzo, which means that you have to give money to this group of people to safeguard your property, and if you don't, they will vandalize it. In our own personal experience in the province of Ragusa and the surroundings, I have never heard of such a thing. Now, if it exists in other parts of Sicily, I am not aware of, but I can guarantee you that we have been here for over 9 years now, and we have never encountered, or any friends who have encountered, this problem here in Sicily. When it comes to the safety question of petty theft, I mean, common sense has to prevail. You mustn't leave things outside to be seen by others, and the temptation will be there. Nowadays, we have the benefit of installing cameras and alarms, which you can be anywhere in the world and you can still view what's going on around your property. And you can even get alerts if there is an intruder. Don't walk around flaunting expensive jewelry, because that's going to attract people who are eyeing these things. Keep your nice jewelry and wear them when you go to social gatherings with friends. Before buying a property, it is important to check out not just the house with a good price and a bargain price. That shouldn't be the attraction only. You have to see the surroundings. Try and check out the neighbors who lives around the area, check out the area well, ask people who have bought in the area, ask the locals about the area, that specific street. I know there are many people who prefer to find a house where there aren't neighbors around them. However, you have to understand that when you buy a rural property, neighbors are not exactly next to you. There's gardens splitting one house to the other. But I find that having very, very good neighbors is definitely a big asset when you live in a rural property. Especially if you won't be using the property all year round, having very, very good neighbors is definitely a big asset, because they can watch over the area, see who's coming in and out of the roads. Obviously, they are watching their own property. At the same time, they are watching yours. And you can even pass on the keys so they can check from time to time. Now, if you've already been viewing properties, rural properties around Sicily, you would have noticed that many houses have these. The windows and doors all with metal bars, which for some people, they think that the area is not safe. So they had to put up all these precautions against theft. But that's not the case. There was a time when it was almost the fashion, the architectural fashion, to have the metal bars on the windows. You even had the pregnant windows, which were decorative. But most houses used to put them for many reasons, different reasons. For example, if you are on ground floor and sometimes the windows are overlooking a street, they were safe to have if you wanted to leave the windows open. When you consider that in those days there weren't ACs to keep the place cool, so they had to open. And the bars gave that extra security if they were asleep. Yes, of course, safety does come into it when you have the metal bars. It will deter thieves from entering the house because it is more difficult to open. And a lot of the rural houses here are used by the locals only in certain periods of the year. So they had their mind at rest that the property was closed and sealed well with these metal bars. You don't only see these metal bars in rural houses here in Sicily. They even existed in many rural homes and townhouses in Malta as well, and all over Europe, Greece, Portugal. You can see these kind of metal bars on the windows and the doors. So don't stop these metal bars on doors stop you from buying a property in rural Sicily because you fear that the crime level is high. Many new houses that are being built in rural Sicily and those that are being renovated or upgraded don't have these metal bars. It is a choice to keep them or not. I mean, our house is very old, so we wanted to leave this specific one because I think it gives a nice aesthetic. I don't know, I like it. There are many ruins that are being renovated and new rural homes being built nowadays, and of course they don't put the metal bars. Some of them put the shuttering, not only for security reasons, but mostly so in summer they can shut down the shutters and keep the hot air out. So in a way, those type of shuttering are very practical. Some houses don't even put anything. They actually have very big doors to see the views, and as a security, they use cameras. So from my own experience and what I have heard from the locals themselves, that there are certain provinces that are touristy, commercial, and those will attract more petty crime, let's say. For example, you can't go to the market freely without holding on to your bag because you get a lot of pickpocketers. And you can't leave the car parked just anywhere because you go and we won't find it, or you go and you find it without wheels. We have heard such stories. So that's why I advise you to not just look at the house and the price of the property you are viewing, but look at the province and the area. Research well, ask the locals, ask people and friends who have bought already, and make the right choice. Another concern, which quite honestly I had never heard of before, even before we bought our property, but it came up after from talking to other people who are going to buy a property, and they asked me if squatting still exists. What is squatting? Squatting means that you have a property that's been abandoned in the middle of nowhere or also in towns, and nobody goes to check them. Then some people can actually move into your house and live there, and it will be very difficult to get them out. You have to involve the courts and it's a process apparently. I had never heard of such a thing, but it still exists. So how can you avoid this? If you buy a property, you're not just buying a property to leave it there, right? As I have already said, we have had our property for quite some years now, and we have never heard of such a thing here in our area of the squatting. But yes, if you research, it does still exist in parts of Sicily and Italy. So take the necessary precautions to avoid that problem by having somebody check on your property if you are not going to be here for a very long time. Keep your land clean to make it look like you're being used, have cameras and all that. And that is part of all the security and the safety that you will need. Number one is cameras. Okay, when it comes to safety on the road, that is a big topic here. For us who come from a Mediterranean island and this Mediterranean culture, we know that discipline and driving don't come together. There is no discipline on the road here. They overtake, they come out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, in our province, which is quiet, we do have these problems on the road, especially on the SS roads, the state roads. And you have to be very careful. Let's not generalize. Some drivers are very good and others are very reckless. And they don't obey any of the rules. They have their own rules. So you have to keep you have to keep your eyes on the road when you're driving. Suddenly somebody could be overtaking from the other side coming your way. And there have been many accidents. It is not about how well you drive and how disciplined you are. It is facing the other reckless driver on the road, which is a little bit worrying sometimes. Yes, it's something that eventually, as time goes by, you get so used to it that you know how they are going to be thinking. And you avoid certain situations. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video has helped answer your questions about safety in Sicily, living in Sicily or buying a property here. As they say, fortune favors the brave. If Sicily is calling you, do your research, trust your instincts and enjoy the journey. If you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to hit the subscribe button, like and share. I will see you all on my next one. Bye bye.